Hi Internet, it's Wednesday. I was going to talk to you about comics because it is Wednesday, and Wednesday's comic book day, as a lot of you already know. But I didn't really have anything specific to say, so I'm just going to save that for another time when I have my thoughts collected on the subject a little bit more. So instead, I'll talk to you about something that I'm kind of just inspired to talk about right now, and have been for a while, but don't really get to talk about it a lot, and that would be ARGs and horror hyperfiction, which hyperfiction being the weird little subset of writing that exists on the internet. It's hypertext fiction. It is, I'm not sure if this is like the appropriate definition, but I've come to understand it's writing using the internet as its primary medium, and it's writing that wouldn't really work outside of the internet. And that exists in a lot of forms, but my favorite form that it exists in is horror, because I'm kind of a horror nut. Anyway, a lot of times I'll compare hyperfiction to horror hyperfiction to works like actual book literary works like House of Leaves, which is awesome, and a newer book, the Rorschach texts, which is fantastic. Both of those books, you should read them right away because they're really interesting and they're really compelling, and they kind of use the same sort of disorienting techniques that a lot of horror hyperfiction does. But anyway, I have two specific titles to kind of name drop and talk about here right now, and one is going on YouTube right now, and I guess you can't really call it hyperfiction, but I hesitate to call it an ARG, which is what a lot of people classify it as, and that would be called Marble Hornets. I will link the channel and the Twitter account going on in the sidebar. But Marble Hornets is a YouTube project that's kind of taking a look at hyperfiction without using actual text. It's a series of YouTube videos, but it gets called an ARG because of that. But I don't like calling it an ARG because there really isn't any player involvement. Like, there's no, we can interact with the characters through Twitter and sort of through YouTube, but it doesn't really have any effect on the outcome of the story, which is what I kind of define an ARG, the gaming aspect of an ARG. ARG, which I don't know if I just said this, but ARG stands for alternate reality gaming, and it's been used. You can look it up. Unfiction is a great place to go look at ARG stuff. I'll link that in the sidebar too. But anyway, Marble Hornets is going on. It's this really interesting it's meandering a little bit right now, and I don't want to be too critical of it because I think it still could kind of go somewhere. And I really like the things that they're doing. But Marble Hornets is a very Blair Witch Paranormal Activity kind of take on this already internet-based fake urban legend of the Slender Man, which some of you might know from Something Awful. And the Slender Man is one of my favorite internet creations right now. I think the idea of him and the way he came about is fantastic, and I think I'm really into him as a villain. I think that he's a great monster that should be played with a lot more, and so I'm hoping that Marble Hornets will kind of open the door for, people to mess with him as a sort of jack-of-all-trades bad guy, I guess, because I really like seeing what people come up with for him. So yeah, the Slender Man is awesome. If I can find like a wiki or, even the Something Awful thread, I'll link it in the sidebar too. The other thing that is going on in hyperfiction right now, went on in hyperfiction right now, but one of the things that I really liked in hyperfiction, horror hyperfiction, is this collective story called the Dionea House, which I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I have no idea. I'm hoping it's Dionea. It's Dionea, I think. I'm not sure. I'll fix that if I'm saying that wrong. I'm too terrible at spelling to tell it off the top of my head. But anyway, Dionea, like a Venus flytrap, like the scientific name for Venus flytrap, which I will also link in the sidebar. Dionea House is hyperfiction in a classical sense that it's completely based on the internet. There's no video components, but it does do something cool that a lot of other hyperfiction doesn't do, and it branches out from just one website to being accounts on like Blogger and LiveJournal and everything, and you really have to kind of dig to get to the end of the story. And it's a very good story. I think there has been talk of a movie being made, I think, so maybe one of these days you'll see it or something, but I will link that, and I recommend it to anyone who kind of likes, you know, first-person perspective horror stuff, you know, Paranormal Activity and Blair Witch and whatnot do it in the video sense. The Diana House does it in the textual sense, so those are really cool things. Anyway, yeah, I like talking about those two things because I think that a lot of times people will either write off things that happen on the internet, especially like text-based things. I'm going to spit whenever I say text. I don't know why. Text-based things that happen on the internet as, you know, kind of trivial or arbitrary or whatever, because the internet gets such a bad rap for, you know, just having this open forum going on. And I think that that's totally false in some senses, that, you know, there are really marvelous things happening, which, you know, they just get overlooked, especially in the cases of hyperfiction and ARGs, because a lot of ARGs are viral marketing for different things. So ARGs get a bad rap because they're known primarily to be ad campaigns, and hyperfiction gets written off because hyperfiction gets associated with fanfiction and whatnot, other quote-unquote unprofessional methods of writing, or unpublished authors and whatnot. So yeah, definitely go check those two things out if you like horror, if you like monsters or scary things, or, you know, whatever. Even if you don't, they're not terrifying in the sense that you're, you know, they're not gory or bloody or anything, so anyone can really kind of handle it as long as you are okay with being a little creeped out. Yeah, I think both of those things are great. So if any of you guys know of any other, you know, horror-based ARGs or, you know, hyperfiction pieces or whatever, even not horror-based, just other, you know, hyperfiction or ARGs that are going on right now that you would recommend, you know, tell me about them, or tell, you know, whoever about them, get them known, because I think that it's a really cool thing that could become way more than it is right now. So yeah, let's talk about those, I guess. So I will talk to you later, Internet. Bye.